All right, what is up, takers? This your boy Tyler. This is Ty's Take Today Live. We do it each and every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Go ahead and you already know how we start the show each time. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at It's Ty's Take Today. Go ahead and head over to Instagram at It's Ty's Take Today. And then, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube at It's Ty's Take Today. And joining us tonight, we have two separate interviews. Up first is Jason Ford, who is a poet, author, and all-around creative. And then that interview is going to be followed by Daniel Easterly, who is an entrepreneur, author, realtor, investor, co-founder of WeCannBe, and so much more. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kick off the conversations here by adding Jason to the chat. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jason.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. So I want to go ahead and dive right in. And if you can just share with our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started. I know you grew up in Saginaw, Michigan, for our Michigan audience, and studied at EMU. Can you just tell us a little bit how your creative journey started?
To be honest, I think it's very hardwired inside of me. I tell people all the time, I couldn't not create or could not be an artist. My father, my mother, both very creative people. My dad, he's gonna build stuff. He's gonna put stuff together, and he's gonna sincerely do it. He'll build a house and have never built a house before type of person. And my mom, she's the type of person that's gonna stitch everything together. She's gonna put everything together. So I think them being like my foundation kind of hardwired to be creative. Because sometimes I feel like it's more of a therapeutic experience for me to be able to create, to be able to express myself in very different ways, so it helps me as much as it has helped or supported anybody else in the world. And I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And how would you say, being from Michigan, and how would you say that cultural experience in Detroit and that type of creative scene has inspired and, evolved some of your work and projects?
I love it here in Detroit. I've been here for quite some time. I've been living here for about 5 or 6 years. But before I was living here and being in Ypsilanti or Belleville for some time for college, I would travel out here all the time. And it's just because there's so many dope creative people here, but even beyond that, the history of that, their parents, their grandparents, it's a whole entire network of creativity, of community giving and loving and building. And I'm naturally a builder. I want to see things grow. I want to see things in a progressive state. And I'm always trying to up the bar or always trying to set a standard. And it's not really for me, or for because I did it. I'm really just to inspire someone else, like I've been inspired by so many dope people that come before me, to show people that what's possible and that they can actually, you can do stuff, whatever idea that you've seen somebody else come up with, or whatever you've seen on TV or on the internet or on your phone nowadays, you can do it too. And beyond that, your ideas can go way beyond that. And I want people to understand that all the time. And that's really one of my primary motivations when I create things.
Absolutely. And speaking of making a difference and, making those changes that are impacting communities, can you tell us a little bit more about your work with the Detroit Black Community Food Sovereignty Network? I know food insecurity, especially in the city of Detroit and in Michigan and all across the world even, is a big issue that is impacting families and communities. Can you tell us a little bit about your work with that organization?
Yes. So working a part of the same community that a lot of people that work here or work with this company, I've been ingrained, somewhat in my DNA to be a part of the network or part of this community of people. I've only been working for the organization for not that long, 6 or 7 months or so now. But primarily in operations, I'm blessed. I'm so happy because I get to do the things that I'm passionate about. We get to have the conversations about the things that we're passionate about, and then we're actually getting the work done, which helps me to feel good about the things that I do. But even beyond that, helps me to keep going and keep doing things. The truth is food sovereignty, or the idea of what you eat, you know, and where it comes from, is so essential for us in our communities. I was just talking, and being back in Saginaw for the holidays, I was talking a lot to a lot of people that work for the city or work in organizations, and just letting them know how important or how essential it is that food sovereignty is, and then also that if you are, I learned this from our founder here at DBCFS, and he let me know, like, if you are like if you know where you stand, then you can stand in any room that you want, or you can stand in any room that you need to get it done. And it's like you have to understand what you're doing it for. It's very essential, and some people don't realize it because people get trapped into something that, like, into the minstrel show or to everything that goes on around them, and they make those things important, you know. And to be honest, a lot of stuff, you know, I don't know if people cursing on here at all, but a lot of the stuff that people do, a lot of stuff that people are focused on in our society, just doesn't have any value, you know. So you have to be able to understand that things like food sovereignty, things like legacy and passing things down to the next generation, not just like money, buildings, and all that stuff, but the ideas, the community resources, the understanding of the history and where they come from, those type of things is more valuable than anything that it's been sold to me.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's, if for those out there that are wanting to learn more information, I know we do have their website in the ticker below us, but I'm also going to pop it up on the bigger screen as well. So is there ways that people can get involved, and if is that the best resource to visit the website for more information?
Yeah, so we have the Detroit Food Co-op. And downstairs is the only, or one of the biggest, I don't say only, because there's, like we said, in Detroit, there's a lot of history, a lot of hard work that's been done here in the city. The biggest community-owned grocery store in all of Midwest United States, and it's all owned by the community. You know, like, you can literally come down, pay your donation, be a member, and like have some say into how things are organized, how things are getting done, some of the programming that happens inside the building, all the food, you know exactly where it's sourced from, and even with that, you're able to get, like, I don't want to say like Captain Crunch or something, I don't want to be promoting things like that, but you can, those things exist as well. But you also have very good, like good products that are locally grown, locally sourced, locally created, that people are very, very passionate about what they put into their food, or what they're putting into their skincare products, or what they're putting into their vitamins, or what they're putting into their cereals and all those things. So all those things are being done right here in the city of Detroit. And I'm right upstairs, actually, from the co-op right now. They're doing a lot of Kwanzaa celebration right now. So I want to make sure I'm not, you know, definitely not disturbing them. But the fact is that you can come out right now and come and celebrate as we speak, you know, with the Kwanzaa and all that. But then also go downstairs, pick up your groceries, pick up your produce, we have a hot bar. So if you like Brussels sprouts and fried chicken or baked chicken or vegan different dishes and stuff, all those things are available. All those things are right here at the food co-op. If you're in Detroit, if you drive by Detroit, if you're close to Detroit, just 8324 Woodward Avenue, right there you'll find the co-op, and there, like I said, a lot of great products, very good price, and a lot of good as far as service, and the people that work there is very community based.
Absolutely, and we'll be sure to also include the address for the location in our description of the video as well. I do also want to shift gears a little bit and talk about, I know you have a book called The Sub-American Dream. And I want to talk a little bit more about your projects and the themes of that book.
Yep. So Sub-American Dream is actually the beginning of a series. Sub-America, The Dream is actually the second book that comes out in March of 2025. And it's like those things where you want to set the bar so people can see. And that's really what was the motivation for it all the way in the beginning. I wanted to be able to create a presentation that was going to inspire people, that was going to impress people, and make people want to do things like that in the future. From that, it's a full live presentation, but we and all of the transitions. So anybody in production, all the transitions are based on lighting, on sound. Like there's no host to kind of direct things. All those things are choreographed together. And then we took the text and reorganized the text and edited it to be for print, and then came out with the book, which was Sub-American Dream.
Absolutely. And I know you have your hands in multiple different projects, from branding and marketing and video work. How do you continue to stay inspired across all of those, especially, with those various mediums?
To be honest, you have to learn a lot of what it means to be authentic and very what's the word when people are genuine. But with being a genuine person all the time kind of helps me stay motivated and inspired. I am a father. My big girl, she's 11 and she'll be 12 in March. I sit down and talk to her all the time about making sure that her expressions are genuine when she's telling the truth or telling a lie. Like when she want to make sure that she understands that these things are for you, like they genuinely are for you. A lot of people say like you go out into the world, even if you're a politician, and it's like you have an agenda and you want to like, shade the truth or, whatever, just so you can get to where you're going, lie to win. And it's like in the end, there's no winning. Like you don't win in that. It's like you're gonna feel it first. And that's the truth. So what I've learned is like it's always the best approach to stay genuine, stay real, stay true to yourself. When you're not feeling it, make sure you let people know, or just get out and get away to a place where you are feeling it. And you gotta always stay genuine, stay true. Staying genuine with the world helps you to stay genuine with yourself. Stay real with yourself.
Absolutely. And I know you are skilled with video and photography, branding and marketing, art and design. If people are interested in collaborating with you or working with you, where can they contact you at for more information and those services?
You can reach out to me. The website is squeezefirst.com or shot by shot. That's ShotXShot Studios.com. Or you can just reach out to me, via Facebook or Instagram. All those things are a good way to reach out to me. And I'm like, Ty can tell you, I'm probably gonna reach out, have questions when I need them. When I don't have questions, I'm not, like I get it. And I'm one of those people that, like, when you start over telling the story, or you got to tell, like you feel like you need to over explain it, I'm gonna let you like, I know you don't have to do that.
Absolutely. And do you have any advice or to any fellow creatives out there, especially when it comes to like creative roadblocks and kind of like, needing a dose of inspiration? What message would you give to fellow creators out there?
First thing is like spend time around other people that are creative and inspiring. I just recently went out to an event yesterday with Joel Fluent, who's an artist here in the city, and just being in that environment inspired me and filled me up with so much creative energy. Would be the first thing. The second thing is make sure you take a break when you need to. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you're not feeling it because you need to spend some time resting or spend some time like spiritually investing in yourself. So make sure you take the time to do that. And the last thing and the biggest thing, like I said before, be genuine. You know, if you're not feeling it, you know, don't do it. You know, if you're not feeling it, don't feel it. You know, and that's true.
Absolutely. And then as we are quickly approaching 2025, are there any current projects that you're currently working on that you could share with us, or what can we expect from you as a creative and as an artist into the new year?
Yeah, a lot of big things that are be coming up actually in the first quarter of 2025. So just focusing on those things, and one thing that's in the middle of the year because my birthday is in July. So shout out to all the summer babies and the Leos. All
Yes.
um, March, the book will be out, the second book, Sub America, The Dream, which is the second of the series, and it's really focused on us understanding that now at this point in our lives that we have the intuition, the power, the strength, and the resources to be able to accomplish all of these things without having to depend on the support of anybody that's not really there to support us. So that's a big thing. That the book, I'm very, very excited about it coming out, but I have some nervousness about it just because the context of the book. It's like I don't want people to think that I'm like trying to. I don't want the government to be like, "Oh, we got to get him." Like, no, man, my hands are up. But the book is absolutely phenomenal, so check it out. And then also, we're gonna do something. I don't want to tell y'all the name of it yet, but it's gonna be something like Deaf Poetry Jam here in the city, where we're doing a live, like a live event with a live audience and stuff. But it's gonna be live to tape. So we're gonna be doing this once a month and then recording it and putting it out every month, you know, next year, and that's gonna start in the first quarter of next year as well. Lastly, if you are interested in poetry or spoken word at all, Ari Lane, who is a phenomenal artist here from the city of Detroit, me and her are birthday twins, so we have the same exact birthday. We're gonna be doing an event. And presentation, performance, and all of that on the 27th or the 26th. We're still working on that right now. To bring in the birthday, but to also to give people one of those events where they can be inspired, you know, where we can, you know, showcase our talent and our art, you know, what we do.
Absolutely, and be sure to keep us posted on the event details as it comes to as we get closer, so that we can definitely have you guys hopefully both on to promote that. A new thing that we've been doing at the end of each of our interviews is a quick game of rapid fire questions, which are some just fun, lighter questions. If you're down to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So first question: who's an artist or performer, past or present, that inspires you the most?
Oh man, now, that's a very, very tough question. I feel like because I'm always inspired by so many artists. I would just say artists here in the city, you know, that I'm inspired by all the time. You know, just by seeing like some of my contemporaries, those are the most inspiration for me. Beyond that, I'm gonna say people you go like that's kind of weird. We weren't expecting that. But I appreciate artists like Bob Dylan or like Kanye, of course. People that were always genuinely on like expressing themselves all the time. Prince, you know, like I love it. You know what I mean? Just because that's true artistry. You know what I mean? You have to be able to showcase who you are genuinely, and then be willing to express yourself when you're feeling up, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling, you know, all those things. You know, and to be honest, that's what people appreciate the most.
Absolutely. And then what's a must visit spot in Detroit that fuels your creativity for you?
I would say the Detroit Food Co-op. I love it here just because I get to eat and chill, and there's so much creative traffic that comes through this space. Also, going to places like I haven't been in a very long time, but I remember when I was traveling here to the city a lot. I would come to places like 90s Knowledge Cafe, which has tons of creative history right here in the city. Places like that where though they offered me my first platform, the first stages to perform for an audience. You know, my first features here in the city was right there in 90s Knowledge Cafe. And to be able to be in places like that, I genuinely appreciate it.
And then speaking of those first moments, what is your favorite poem or piece of writing that you've written thus far?
Wow. I don't know if I have a favorite. I do have a piece though that's late, that's new. It's called Hourglass. That I genuinely appreciate a lot, and it's just really gives you an opportunity to be reflective. In my poetry, I always try to make sure that I'm showcasing some parts of myself that you might not get to see if I wasn't on stage or if it wasn't in writing. So it's just like an opportunity where we can all do that together and sit down and reflect on our state of society, the things that we contribute to it, and then also where we're going in the future.
Absolutely, Jason. And then one last question for you. Describe your creative philosophy in one sentence.
Creative philosophy in one sentence. Always stay true to your art. You know what I mean? Beyond this, that's the period. I just want to give like a little whatever. Make sure that beyond, like, you're going to be true to yourself. We have to understand that every day today, like, we are ourselves. Lots of people like to separate ourselves from ourselves to, like, say, okay, to create an idea of yourself. And it's like, you always have to stay true to yourself. Stay true to your art. If you're a poet, if you're a writer, if you're a painter, if you're like, stay true to that art form, and you can take it from there to do anything you want. You don't have to stay in no box. You don't have to, because as soon as you try to create an idea of yourself, then you start to create limitations. You start to paint boundaries around yourself. And that might be limited, at some time. So stay true to your art, to the art form, and the expression of art.
Absolutely. Jason Ford, thank you so much for joining us, also known as Squeeze. We are going to put all of your social media information in the caption of the video, and much success into the new year. I'm looking forward to hearing about future projects and hopefully having you on the show again, as well as with your guests to promote your guys' upcoming event later into 2025.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And also, Ty, I appreciate the work that you put into the fact that your stream, your broadcast, and what you're doing. This is exactly what I think about, what I'm talking about. It's like you have to be dedicated to your art. You stay true to your art and do that, because when you're doing that, you're doing good things. You're doing dope shit. Dope things.
Oh, it's all good. It's like we talked about being authentic. So I appreciate that so much. And like I said, we'll definitely have you on again soon. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so those that may be just tuning in, you are watching a Ty's Take Today live. Once again, we do it every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. That was Jason Ford, also known as Squeeze. We'll be sure to put his social media so that you can stay connected with him. And if you're interested in collaborating with him and the different services that he offers, we'll be sure to link you all in the description and caption of the video. Coming up next on deck, we are going to be talking to Daniel Easterly about his journey as an entrepreneur in the different projects that he has his hands in. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and add him to the virtual stage now. Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
How you doing, Todd? Thanks for having me.
Doing well, staying busy. So I want to just dive straight in. I don't like to waste anybody's time. I know we're all busy, especially with the holidays and everything going on. So I just appreciate you taking some time out of your evening to talk to us. And I want to dive straight in and tell our audience a little bit about yourself and who you are and the different projects that you have going on currently.
Yeah, hopefully you can't see a glare, but if you can, it's my light right here. But a little bit about myself. My name is Daniel Easterly. I'm the founder of WeCannBe and the creator of the 40 Acres app. WeCannBe stands for With Equity, creating a new narrative for Black enterprises. I dabble in a lot of different things, right? So I would like to call myself a Renaissance man. And just happen to be in the perfect place to be that, right? Detroit is going through a renaissance right now. So a little bit about me is that I have bit of expertise in multiple areas, right? From art to business to cybersecurity, real estate, right? Art, acting, so on and so forth, right? Used to be an ex-athlete, the whole nine. So it's kind of one of those things where my journey is ebb and flow, but I've lived my life kind of even keel. So a little bit about me is that I like to be a Renaissance man, and I like to have a firm understanding of all things that are around me.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about what inspires your creative process and how do you manage to find that balance, especially with, the different projects that you're involved with.
I find that balance, man, by playing hard as much as I work, right? So for me, my outlet, after I'm working hard and doing all of my business things, is being able to have that creative outlet, and that's me being able to flex that in multiple ways, right? And that's being an artist, me being an actor, right? Modeling, modeled in New York Fashion Week a few times, right? Those different things are kind of my outlet for me to always be able to stay creative, because it makes me creative not only in those facets, but also when I come back to my business, right? And that is where I find the balance truly, right? Is being able to do both of those things and knowing that one assists the other.
Absolutely. And speaking of those different projects, who are some of the biggest people that have heavily influenced your career so far?
Man, I've met a lot of people in my career, because I've been in sales, engineering, as well as entertainment, like I said, right? So I've met people like Tiana Taylor, right? Mark Cuban, and that's the entertainment side for Tiana Taylor, of course, who has spoken great words upon my life, right? J. Cole, I've met him a few times, spoken really great words over my life in my business, right? Business wise, Mark Cuban, right, is somebody that has been super influential in my life, as well as Big Sean, right? Went to high school with Big Sean, went to Cass, and I remember him selling mixtapes outside of Cass when I was in middle school, right? Which is crazy to think about, and then understanding where I am even now, business wise, where his professional attention into blockchain technology, cryptocurrency has kind of allowed us to cross paths even in a business sense, and that has also kept me motivated, because the people that you meet along your journey also confirm that you're on the right path. And I think because of the people that I've met and have spoken into my life, but also have been at the beginning and also throughout the journey, has kind of given me insight into where my journey is and the type of impact that my journey will have. And that's why I stay consistent with it. But I've been inspired by so many people, and those are just a few people, right? But there's so many people along my journey that I try to look at what they do, see what they do, and if I like what they do, do it a little bit better if I can, right? So there's that.
Absolutely. I can totally relate. You had mentioned Big Sean, just like that grit and determination. So shout outs to Big Sean for sure, because that is one of my biggest inspirations as well. And like, I'm not a music artist. I can't sing or rap, but like just his work ethic and determination and dedication, that's what inspires me about him, especially outside of just being a lyrical genius.
Yeah, I
What
feel
has
that
been
you can't not admire Big Sean for some of the stuff that he does, man. Especially being a guy from Detroit, getting picked up by somebody like Kanye West, and then having a journey like he did, man. It's definitely inspiring, man. Just to say that, bro.
definitely on my dream interviews. I've had the opportunity to meet him as well, but at that time I was blown away to even try to get an interview on the show. But manifesting it hopefully for 2025.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen, man. You're in the right place too. In the right place. It is bound to happen.
Absolutely. So speaking of like challenges and obstacles, what would you say has been the most challenging moment in your entrepreneurship or career journey thus far?
I didn't hear you. What you say?
Oh, no worries. I think our connection went out for a second. But what has been the most challenging moment in your career thus far, or obstacle that you've overcome?
The most challenging has been stepping into the space that I'm in now. Right, I have a background that uniquely positions me for blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, tokenization. Right, I've been in cybersecurity, real estate, financial technology, as well as like the entertainment industry. Right, and there's a slew of challenges, but a lot of the challenges I've taken a sales approach, sales methodology approach to those things, to where I just understand the ebbs and flows of everything now, right? To where I just try to stay super consistent. But if I had to go back and think about one of the largest challenges that I've ever had, it has to be closing a deal with Blue Origin when I was in cybersecurity for a company called McAfee. A lot of people may know that company. It's usually the software that's on your computer to protect your computer initially when you get it, right? One of those legacy programs. But I was selling to Blue Origin, was a company. It was one of my first, not first sales, but first very large sales as an enterprise rep, right? Where I had to overcome a lot of objections. And I think that translates to life, right? Where you have to go for the no. A lot of people will tell you no, but if you listen hard enough, the no's is also how you get the yeses, right? And I utilize that through my processes of closing that deal, where I got no's from everybody from the procurement all the way to C-suite executive, but somehow I overcame those objections and ended up closing almost a multi-million-dollar deal while I was at McAfee. And it, and it may not even sound hard, but it's only because I have the experience in that sales arena, to where now it's something that's a little bit more digestible, right? But that was one of my biggest challenges, and also just staying steadfast, right? When you go through a lot of different things, owning a business, there's always things that pop up. And one of the biggest challenges for any entrepreneur, creative, right, is keeping your mind right when those challenges arise, right? Is saying, man, I may not close this deal, but I'm going to keep my mind right so I can close the next one. And I think that's my biggest challenge, but it's also one of my biggest strengths, is that I figured that out.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about WeCannBe and that vision and what you all are doing to address issues in underserved communities.
Yeah, so WeCannBe, which stands for With Equity, creating a new narrative for Black and Brown enterprises and entrepreneurs, right? Is a company, a nonprofit that me and my oldest brother Zachary Easterly started a while back, and it's for the purpose of educating people on future technology, emerging technology, and creating a workforce surrounding those future technologies like blockchain technology, AR, VR, real estate innovations like 3D printing, advanced manufacturing, right? All of those things are technology 4.0. And we created the nonprofit as well as our for-profit 40 Acres to educate people on all of these new emerging technologies, cybersecurity, financial technologies, right? Real estate innovations, things that I have experience in, right? Which is a part of my purpose, right? And why that I believe I'm so purpose driven in this aspect of teaching and educating people on this. But then we also created an application called 40 Acres that ties to it, right? That allows people in the city of Detroit, around the world, really to tokenize assets. And there's a lot of great benefits to tokenizing assets. A lot of people aren't familiar with that word now, but you will be familiar with it here in the next couple of years, because it's a really huge industry and something that people are pushing. But we created that nonprofit so that we can be in the community, right? And educate you, but also give you something that's worthwhile, to where when all those new jobs are created, you aren't left behind. When we talk about the digital gap, right? The knowledge gap, the digital divide, right? The wealth gap, all of those things are tied to solutions that now with technology have solved them, right? We have the ability to close the knowledge gap, the wealth gap really quickly by educating and also giving you a way to earn, And that makes up our learn to earn process as well. But those are, and I'm saying a mouthful about WeCannBe, but that's my passion, right? Is educating the community and also teaching people how that wealth is accessible to everyone. And that's something I need everyone to know, and I want everyone to know moving forward through 2027 all the way to 2030 and beyond.
Absolutely. And then speaking of, do you have any goals in place or any projects that you all are currently working on for the new year?
Yes. So our app 40 Acres has been completed to where we're doing beta testing. We're having people on board now through January. So we have a big, huge plan through Q1, Q2 of onboarding as many people as we possibly can to utilize the application. Anybody who's interested in tokenizing their assets and raising funds for projects, whether it's music, real estate, culture, art, right? Commodities that are being created, intellectual property, all of those things fall under items that can be tokenized. And in Q1, while we're educating people on that, we're also going to be walking people through that process and then selling their shares, right? Selling the tokenized fractional ownership shares of those items that people list with us. So if anyone is interested in those things, we're definitely looking to partner with you for pilot projects to tokenize your assets and allow you to have access to additional liquidity, right? Money at hand. If you're a small business, that's important when you're scaling, right? Tokenization gives you that capacity and so much more. And through Q1, Q2, that's what our focus is onboarding and getting ramped up in the right way.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to reach out and learn more because I'm definitely interested in learning more and partnering up. What advice would you give to any entrepreneur out there, or anybody that may be interested in starting a business or an organization? What advice would you give to them that may be watching?
The advice that I would give to any entrepreneur, anyone who wanted to start a business, is learn and fail fast. And what I mean by that is when you learn, you don't always learn and immediately become successful. Sometimes you have to fail, and the faster that you fail without becoming a failure, the faster you'll become a success at whatever business that you're putting your energy into, right? And I've started several businesses, sold some, won some, lost some, right? And that's what I learned even in technology, is that I can learn 1,000 miles an hour. I can do 1,000 miles an hour, but if I do those things at 1,000 miles an hour, I need to fail at 1,000 miles an hour as well, because that just adds to me getting to that success that much quicker, and understanding those failures fast, right, helps you understand how to get your success that much quicker as well. So yeah, that would be my advice to you guys.
Absolutely. And then I want to talk a little bit about your published work, A New Nation Inside of a Nation, The Age of the Black Dollar. Can you tell us a little bit about that publication and what message you hope that readers take away if they do go ahead and purchase your book?
So I wrote a book called A New Nation Inside of a Nation, The Age of Technology and the Black Dollar. And it talks about the African diaspora as a whole, right? And how technology now connects some of our greatest leaders' ideologies and puts us in a place where we can connect the entire African diaspora through technology. A lot of the things that Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois were speaking about were before their time. And my book is putting those things into perspective to help people understand what technology and how technology unifies us if we seek to embrace it the right way, right? And my company, WeCannBe, and the application 40 Acres play directly into some of the principles that I discuss within this book. And for anybody who's looking for a great read, it's a great read, but it's also something that I tried to break down into layman terms so that it can immediately help you up level your mindset in terms of building wealth and also connecting with people that look like you, right? Because it's hard to understand who you are when you've never been to where you're from. It's hard to understand who you are when there's 400 plus years of knowledge deficiency in your community, right? And they often say we don't read books, right? And the reason for me writing the book, but also talking about it, is to give you multiple avenues to digest the information that is good for you, right? And that's what the purpose of that book is there for, is to give you the principles of social finance, where it ties social impact to social justice, to finance and all of those other things, to give you a formula for success, a formula for connecting the African diaspora and solving some of those societal issues that the African American brown communities all have faced, from redlining to mass incarceration behind marijuana, right? For example, not being able to get real estate because of the color of your skin, not being able to participate in investing because you don't have the knowledge, right? That book is there to do all of that for you. And I would love to talk to anyone about it. You don't have to read the book. I would love for everyone to read it, but even if you wanted to have that conversation, I'm always ready to have it with anyone who's interested in taking that knowledge to the next level, because I'm an African eccentric person, right? I go to Africa, spend time there every year, right? For the purpose of gaining the knowledge to share with everyone else.
Absolutely. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Instagram. I know there's 3 different ones there, but we have Daniel Q East, WeCannBe, and then the 40 Acres app. If you're down to play, I want to play a quick rapid fire type of question game. So my first question, I have to pull out my phone for this one. But if your business were a movie, what genre would it be and who would play you?
If my journey was a movie or my business?
Yeah. We could do either or. So if your business.
If my business was a movie, what movie would it be and who would be playing me? If my business was a movie, my business would be Pursuit of Happiness, and it would be Will Smith playing me. And the reason I would say that is just because there's a lot of things that people, and that's the reason this movie speaks to me specifically, is that there's a lot of people who don't know what you go through in order for you to be successful. And I think that's one of the overarching themes of that movie, is understanding that guy slept on a train. He slept with his kid in the gas station or something like that. And those are extreme measures, right? But you really don't know how spiritual of a journey entrepreneurship actually is. And you find God when you are at your lowest. And I think in entrepreneurship and understanding the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, a lot of times that's what you find, is that there is something spiritual about what you're doing. And Pursuit of Happiness is you literally pursuing your vision, your happiness, what you think, what you believe, relentlessly, right? And then I believe that's what I do. Is I wake up every day, no matter what my situation is, knowing that what I'm doing will have an impact on someone else's life. And that motivates me every single day to keep doing it, whether it's the person in my family, like the movie, whether it's his son, whether it's my dogs, whether it's my family, my mom, my little sister. I'm waking up every day to be able to say someone in Africa's life was changed because of something I did 2 years ago. Hey, and that's enough for me, right? And that's me pursuing my own happiness, for sure.
Absolutely. And keeping on the topic of being an entrepreneur, what is one thing that you may have tried to do in your business journey that may not have worked out the way you intended it to, but you still learned a valuable lesson?
Some things that didn't work out that how they intended to, but I learned a valuable lesson, man. Is my first pitch competitions, my first time pitching to investors, right? Is I'm a very confident speaker, I believe, public speaker, very confident when I go into different meetings, especially when I know I've done the work. And you really don't know what you don't know until you get into a room where people know more than you do, right? And I think when you go into investor meetings and you think that you're prepared and someone hits you with a curveball, it could kind of throw things all off kilter. And in my first experiences pitching to VCs, I had a bad experience with that, where I was overly prepared and was hit with a curveball that I couldn't recover from. And the valuable lesson that I took away from that is saying, hey, you don't win everyone, right? You can prepare like you're going to win and you still not win everyone. And I translate it to football too, as saying that every game has 4 quarters, right? There's 4 quarters in a year. There's 4 quarters when you're investing in stock, and you prepare for a game and to play 4 quarters. And that day I didn't prepare to play 4 quarters. My advice and the thing that I learned was always be prepared to play 4 quarters, right? Some people come in saying, hey, I'm going to win and throw a 100-yard touchdown the first play of the game. And that's not always true. When I got in front of those investors, I should have been prepared for all 4 quarters, because my touchdown came in the 4th. It didn't come in the 1st, if that makes sense, right? And that is the lesson that I took away from it, is saying I'm always prepared like no one else's business, because I don't know what is going to get me to my next dollar. I don't know what's going to get my business to the next customer. And I have to do the work, but then I have to be prepared to do the work to understand my opponent as well, right? And that's how you do business, and that's how you excel at business. It's not just understanding what you offer, but also understanding what your customer and the person that you're selling yourself, your product, your business to is coming to the table with as well.
Absolutely. Stay dropping gems here on the show. Thank you so much again, Daniel, for joining us. And once again, for those watching that want to learn more, there's the Instagram handles at WeCannBe, at 40 Acres app. And then I just want to say thank you again. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing what this next year has in store, and then having you on the show again too, as well. And then if you're watching, you guys can also go to WeCannBe.com for more information as well. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, and everybody sign up for our wait list. If you haven't already, sign up for the 40 Acres wait list, because our application is finalized. We're onboarding new customers, new users, so you can buy, sell, and trade shares of real world assets, right? Tokenized assets. But we're also looking for investors and partners, right? To where if you're an investor and you're looking to build wealth, we have an easy way for you guys to do it as well. And it's directed towards anyone, right? Whether you have $1 or $1 million, whether you have $1,000 asset all the way up to multi-million-dollar assets, we are here to work with you, here to help you, and then here to get your friends, your family, and everyone else you know involved as well. So sign up at WeCannBe.com, but it also will take you to 40acresapp.com, where you also can sign up for our wait list and start utilizing our application as soon as you sign up.
Absolutely. And again, we'll link all of that information in the description of this video and captions as well. Daniel, thank you so much again for joining us this evening.
Thank you, man. And thank you for having me. And a great show, man. I love it.
Thank you so much. All right, so I just want to close this out and say, takers, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my guest this evening. That just was Daniel Easterly. And then we previously, in the first part of the show, talked to Jason Ford. So be sure to follow them and connect with them on social media. We'll be sure to put all of that information in the description of this video. And of course, before we get out of here, you already know what it's about to be. Be sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/@itsTiesTakeToday. Be sure to go ahead and follow us on Instagram, and of course at itsTiesTakeToday. And lastly, we're keeping it really simple for all of you. For those that may not know, be sure to hit that YouTube subscribe button at It's Ties Take Today. That's going to do it for this edition. We'll see you all back here later in the week. And thank you all for joining, and have a great evening.